English Listening Podcast. TOEIC 600 points. Chapter 1. Business Development and Market Expansion. Companies pursuing growth strategies must thoroughly evaluate potential market opportunities before committing substantial resources to expansion initiatives. Comprehensive market research provides essential insights regarding consumer preferences, competitive landscapes, and regulatory environments that might influence business success. Many organizations establish dedicated business development teams responsible for identifying promising opportunities and cultivating strategic partnerships. International expansion typically requires significant adaptation of existing business models to accommodate cultural differences and local market expectations. Due diligence processes examine financial performance, operational capabilities, and legal compliance when evaluating potential acquisition targets or partnership arrangements. Return on investment projections incorporate various scenarios to account for different market reception possibilities and competitive responses. Strategic alliance formations often provide more efficient market entry mechanisms than developing entirely new operational capabilities independently. Distribution channel selection significantly impacts market penetration rates and customer accessibility, with different approaches being appropriate for various product categories and regional contexts. Pricing strategies must balance competitive positioning with profitability requirements while considering potential impacts on existing market segments. Brand positioning statements articulate distinctive value propositions that differentiate offerings from competitive alternatives in meaningful and compelling ways. Expansion timelines should include reasonable allowances for unexpected challenges that inevitably arise during implementation phases. Cross-functional collaboration between marketing, finance, operations, and human resources departments ensures comprehensive planning for growth initiatives. Pilot programs enable organizations to test concept viability in limited market segments before committing to full-scale implementation with greater resource requirements. Customer acquisition costs represent critical metrics for evaluating expansion sustainability, particularly for subscription-based business models with significant upfront investment. Market saturation analysis determines whether sufficient untapped potential exists to justify additional competitors in established sectors. Regulatory compliance requirements vary substantially across different jurisdictions, necessitating thorough legal review before entering new markets. Scalability assessments examine whether existing systems and processes can accommodate anticipated growth without requiring disproportionate additional investment. Product localization extends beyond simple translation to include cultural adaptation and alignment with regional consumer expectations. Competitive response scenarios should be incorporated into strategic planning processes to prepare appropriate countermeasures for likely competitor reactions. Chapter 2. Professional Communication and Negotiation. Effective business communication significantly influences organizational success through improved collaboration, clearer expectations, and stronger relationship development. Written communication should be concise and purposeful, with key points appearing prominently rather than buried within excessive detail or unnecessary formality. Active listening techniques demonstrate engagement through appropriate nonverbal signals, clarifying questions, and periodic summarization of important discussion points. Presentation delivery skills encompass proper preparation, confident body language, strategic visual support, and thoughtful responses during question periods. Communication style adaptations based on audience characteristics enhance message reception and minimize potential misunderstandings or resistance. Electronic communication platforms offer convenience and efficiency, but require particular attention to tone and clarity due to the absence of nonverbal cues. Negotiation preparation involves determining acceptable parameters, anticipating counterparty positions, and developing persuasive rationales for preferred outcomes. Interest-based negotiation approaches focus on identifying underlying needs rather than maintaining rigid positional stances, thereby creating opportunities for mutually beneficial agreements. Cultural variations in negotiation styles necessitate research and adaptation when engaging with international counterparts to avoid unintended offense or miscommunication. Collaborative problem-solving techniques generate multiple potential solutions before evaluating options against shared criteria and selecting optimal approaches. Difficult conversations require particular preparation regarding timing, environment selection, and message framing to maximize receptiveness while minimizing defensive reactions. Constructive feedback delivery balances necessary criticism with appropriate recognition of positive elements and specific improvement suggestions. Persuasive communication employs logical arguments, emotional appeals, and credibility establishment to influence audience perspectives and decision-making processes. Conflict resolution skills enable productive management of disagreements through active listening, perspective acknowledgement, and collaborative solution development. Nonverbal communication elements, including facial expressions, gestures, and spatial positioning, significantly impact message reception and interpretation. Meeting facilitation techniques ensure productive discussions through clear agenda setting, equitable participation opportunities, and effective time management. Remote communication effectiveness requires particular attention to clarity, engagement strategies, and technological considerations. Executive summaries present complex information concisely for busy decision-makers who require essential points without extensive supporting details. Negotiated agreement documentation should clearly articulate terms, responsibilities, timelines, and resolution mechanisms for potential disagreements to prevent subsequent misunderstandings. Chapter 3: Operational Excellence and Process Improvement. Organizations pursuing operational excellence continuously evaluate existing processes to identify efficiency opportunities and quality enhancement possibilities. Process mapping techniques create visual representations of workflows, highlighting decision points, handoffs between departments, and potential bottleneck locations. Lean management philosophies focus on eliminating activities that consume resources without creating corresponding customer value. Key performance indicators provide quantifiable measurements that enable objective evaluation of operational effectiveness and identification of improvement priorities. Root cause analysis methodologies, such as the 5 Whys technique, prevent superficial problem-solving by identifying underlying issues rather than merely addressing symptoms. Continuous improvement cultures encourage all employees to suggest enhancements based on their first-hand process experience and customer interaction knowledge. Total quality management approaches emphasize customer satisfaction, employee involvement, continuous improvement, and data-driven decision-making throughout organizational operations. Statistical process control utilizes data collection and analysis to distinguish between normal process variation and significant deviations requiring intervention. Value stream mapping examines entire production systems from raw material acquisition through final customer delivery to identify improvement opportunities. Bottleneck analysis identifies capacity constraints that limit overall throughput, enabling targeted improvement efforts with maximum systemic impact. Process standardization establishes consistent methodologies that reduce variation while creating baselines for subsequent improvement initiatives. Cross-functional process improvement teams combine diverse perspectives and specialized knowledge to develop comprehensive enhancement recommendations. Benchmarking activities compare internal performance metrics with industry best practices to identify significant gaps and improvement opportunities. Change management strategies address human factors that frequently determine whether process improvements achieve sustained implementation or encounter resistance and eventual abandonment. Six Sigma methodologies apply statistical analysis to minimize defects and process variation through systematic define, measure, analyze, improve, control frameworks. Technology enablement evaluates how digital solutions might streamline workflows, enhance quality control, or improve customer experiences through process automation. Implementation planning establishes clear responsibilities, timelines, resource allocations, and success metrics for operational improvement initiatives. Return on investment calculations quantify anticipated benefits against required implementation costs to prioritize competing improvement opportunities. Operational excellence requires ongoing commitment rather than isolated initiatives, with leadership consistently reinforcing its strategic importance through resource allocation and recognition systems. Chapter 4: Human Resource Management and Workplace Dynamics. Contemporary human resource management extends beyond traditional administrative functions to encompass strategic talent development and organizational culture enhancement. Recruitment strategies increasingly leverage technology for candidate sourcing, while emphasizing cultural fit alongside technical qualifications and experience requirements. Onboarding programs significantly influence new employee productivity and retention through comprehensive orientation, clear expectation setting, and deliberate relationship building. Performance management systems establish objective evaluation criteria, provide regular feedback mechanisms, and align individual objectives with broader organizational goals. Compensation structures balance internal equity considerations with external market competitiveness while incorporating appropriate performance incentives. Employee engagement surveys measure workforce sentiment regarding various organizational aspects, providing valuable insights for retention strategy development. Diversity and inclusion initiatives create workplace environments where individuals from various backgrounds feel valued and empowered to contribute their unique perspectives. Conflict management protocols establish constructive approaches for addressing workplace disagreements before they escalate into more significant issues affecting team cohesion. Workforce planning analyzes current capabilities against future requirements to identify anticipated skill gaps requiring recruitment or internal development. Learning management systems facilitate skill development through structured training programs, competency tracking, and career pathway visualization. Employee wellness programs address physical and mental health considerations that influence productivity, engagement, and absenteeism rates. Regulatory compliance requirements regarding employment practices vary substantially across different jurisdictions, necessitating thorough legal review of human resource policies. Remote work policies establish expectations regarding availability, communication protocols, equipment provisions, and performance measurement for employees working outside traditional office environments. Change management considerations are particularly important during organizational restructuring, system implementations, or strategic redirections that significantly impact established workflows. Exit interview processes collect valuable information regarding departure reasons, potentially identifying improvement opportunities for enhancing retention of remaining employees. Team-building activities strengthen interpersonal connections and trust relationships that facilitate more effective collaboration during routine operations. Mentorship programs pair experienced employees with developing talent, accelerating professional growth while preserving institutional knowledge. Performance improvement plans provide structured approaches for addressing underperformance through clear expectations, support resources, and defined evaluation timelines. Employee recognition programs acknowledge contributions through both formal and informal mechanisms, reinforcing desired behaviors and cultural values. Chapter 5: Supply Chain Management and Logistics. Effective supply chain management coordinates multiple business functions to optimize product movement from raw material suppliers through manufacturing processes to final customer delivery. Procurement strategies balance cost considerations with quality requirements, delivery reliability, supplier financial stability, and various risk factors. Vendor relationship management extends beyond transactional interactions to develop collaborative partnerships that generate mutual benefits through information sharing and aligned objectives. Inventory optimization models determine appropriate stocking levels based on demand variability, lead time considerations, carrying costs, and stockout consequences. Distribution network design evaluates warehouse locations, transportation modes, and fulfillment processes to balance service levels with operational efficiency. Demand forecasting techniques incorporate historical sales data, market trends, promotional calendars, and various leading indicators to predict future requirements more accurately. Just-in-time inventory approaches minimize carrying costs by scheduling deliveries to arrive precisely when materials are needed for production processes. Global sourcing strategies access international supplier markets, but must account for extended lead times, currency fluctuations, regulatory compliance, and geopolitical stability factors. Supply chain visibility solutions provide real-time tracking capabilities throughout distribution networks, enabling proactive management of exceptions and disruptions. Sustainable procurement policies establish environmental and social responsibility requirements for suppliers, reflecting growing stakeholder expectations regarding corporate practices. Supply chain risk management identifies potential disruption sources ranging from supplier financial difficulties to natural disasters, developing appropriate mitigation strategies and contingency plans. Warehouse management systems optimize storage utilization, picking efficiency, and inventory accuracy through location management and process automation. Transportation management involves carrier selection, route optimization, load consolidation, and mode selection to balance service requirements with cost considerations. Reverse logistics processes handle product returns, warranty claims, and end-of-life recycling with efficiency, similar to forward distribution channels. Performance metrics including perfect order fulfillment, inventory turnover, and cash-to-cash cycle time enable objective evaluation of supply chain effectiveness. Strategic supplier development programs improve capabilities of critical vendors through technical assistance, process improvement collaboration, and predictable business volumes. Blockchain technology applications increasingly enhance supply chain transparency by creating unalterable transaction records accessible to all network participants. Chapter 6: Project Management and Implementation. Successful project management methodologies balance detailed planning with appropriate adaptability to handle inevitable changes and unexpected developments. Project initiation documents articulate clear objectives, define scope boundaries, identify key stakeholders, and establish preliminary resource requirements. Work breakdown structures systematically decompose complex projects into manageable components with defined deliverables, accountable owners, and duration estimates. Critical path analysis identifies task sequences that directly determine project completion timing, enabling focused attention on activities without schedule flexibility. Resource allocation decisions consider both availability and capability factors when assigning personnel to specific project responsibilities. Change management procedures establish formal processes for evaluating modification requests against project constraints and strategic objectives. Risk management frameworks identify potential issues, assess probability and impact, develop mitigation strategies, and establish contingency plans for residual risks. Project communication plans specify information distribution methods, frequencies, and recipients to ensure all stakeholders receive appropriate updates. Earned value management techniques combine schedule and budget performance measurements to provide early warning of developing problems. Stakeholder management requires understanding various perspectives, addressing concerns proactively, and maintaining appropriate engagement throughout project life cycles. Agile project methodologies emphasize incremental delivery, customer collaboration, and responsiveness to change rather than comprehensive advance planning. Project governance structures establish decision-making authorities, escalation pathways, and oversight mechanisms appropriate to project size and strategic importance. Project closure activities include deliverable acceptance, documentation finalization, team recognition, and lessons learned sessions to improve future performance. Schedule compression techniques such as fast-tracking and crashing may recover timeline slippage, but typically involve increased costs or quality risks. Quality management plans define standards, testing methodologies, and acceptance criteria for project deliverables throughout development processes. Project portfolio management aligns individual initiatives with strategic objectives while optimizing resource allocation across multiple simultaneous projects. Interdependency management coordinates scheduling and resource requirements between related projects to minimize conflicts and maximize synergies. Executive sponsorship provides necessary organizational authority, removes institutional barriers, and maintains strategic alignment throughout implementation phases. Post-implementation, reviews evaluate actual outcomes against original objectives, identify improvement opportunities, and document reusable knowledge for subsequent initiatives. Chapter 7: Digital Marketing and E-commerce. Digital marketing strategies leverage various online channels to create brand awareness, generate qualified leads, and drive conversion actions cost-effectively. Search engine optimization techniques improve organic visibility through website structure enhancements, content development, and backlink acquisition strategies aligned with target keyword phrases. Pay-per-click advertising campaigns enable precise audience targeting based on demographics, interests, and previous online behaviors with payment structures based on actual engagement. Content marketing approaches focus on creating valuable information that addresses customer questions or challenges, establishing thought leadership positions while building audience relationships. Social media platforms provide opportunities for direct customer engagement, though each requires tailored content approaches appropriate to specific audience expectations and consumption patterns. Analytics implementation enables data-driven decision-making through conversion tracking, attribution modeling, and performance comparison across various marketing channels. Customer relationship management integration with marketing automation platforms enables personalized communication based on prospect interactions and demonstrated interests. Email marketing remains highly effective when properly segmented with relevant content, compelling subject lines, and clear calls to action that respect subscriber preferences. Mobile optimization has become essential as smartphone usage for information gathering and purchase transactions continues increasing across demographic segments. Influencer marketing leverages established audience relationships to extend brand reach through authentic recommendations from trusted sources. Remarketing campaigns target previous website visitors with customized messaging designed to address common purchase hesitations and abandoned shopping carts. E-commerce platforms must balance comprehensive functionality with intuitive user experiences to maximize conversion rates and average order values. Product detail pages require comprehensive information, high-quality images from multiple angles, and social proof elements such as reviews to overcome purchase hesitations. Checkout process optimization focuses on removing friction points, offering appropriate payment options, and minimizing form fields to reduce abandonment rates. Customer segmentation enables personalized experiences through product recommendations and targeted promotions based on previous purchase behavior and browsing patterns. Pricing strategies must consider competitive positioning, perceived value, and psychological factors that influence purchase decisions in online environments. International e-commerce expansion requires consideration of currency conversion, shipping logistics, customs regulations, and localized customer service capabilities. Mobile commerce continues growing in significance, necessitating responsive design approaches that provide optimal experiences regardless of device characteristics. Chapter 8: Corporate Social Responsibility and Ethics. Corporate social responsibility initiatives extend beyond regulatory compliance to address broader environmental sustainability, community impact, and ethical governance considerations. Stakeholder engagement processes solicit input from various constituencies, including employees, customers, investors, community representatives, and environmental advocates when developing responsibility frameworks. Sustainability reports provide transparent disclosure regarding environmental impacts, social initiatives, and governance practices using standardized reporting methodologies. Ethical sourcing policies establish supplier requirements regarding labor practices, environmental responsibility, and regulatory compliance throughout supply chains. Community investment programs develop strategic partnerships with nonprofit organizations addressing social challenges aligned with corporate values and capabilities. Corporate governance structures establish accountability systems, conflict of interest policies, and ethical guidelines that extend beyond minimum legal requirements. Environmental footprint reduction targets address energy consumption, water usage, waste generation, and greenhouse gas emissions through efficiency improvements and process modifications. Diversity and inclusion commitments extend beyond hiring practices to ensure equitable advancement opportunities and inclusive decision-making processes throughout organizational structures. Executive compensation policies increasingly incorporate environmental and social performance metrics alongside traditional financial indicators when determining incentive payments. Transparency practices provide stakeholders with relevant information regarding corporate activities while respecting legitimate confidentiality requirements regarding competitive information. Ethical decision-making frameworks help employees navigate complex situations involving competing values or stakeholder interests, where clear regulatory guidance may be lacking. Anti-corruption policies establish explicit prohibitions against bribery and inappropriate influence, including detailed approval processes for gifts, entertainment, and charitable donations. Human rights commitments address labor practices, community impacts, and supply chain relationships in accordance with internationally recognized standards and principles. Product responsibility considerations encompass safety, quality, environmental impact, and ethical marketing practices throughout development and commercialization processes. Volunteering programs enable employees to contribute professional skills and personal time to community organizations while developing leadership capabilities and strengthening team relationships. Responsible investment policies guide corporate treasury activities and employee retirement plan options in accordance with environmental, social, and governance criteria. Whistleblower protection systems establish confidential reporting mechanisms for ethical concerns, while prohibiting retaliation against employees raising legitimate issues. Chapter 9: Business Innovation and Adaptation. Innovation capability has become increasingly critical as technological advancement and market evolution accelerate across virtually all industries. Design thinking methodologies emphasize deep customer understanding, iterative prototyping, and multidisciplinary collaboration when developing novel solutions to identified problems. Innovation cultures encourage appropriate risk-taking, tolerate instructive failures, and recognize creative contributions regardless of hierarchical position or departmental boundaries. Competitive intelligence functions systematically monitor emerging technologies, business model innovations, and market entrants that might represent future opportunities or threats. Research and development investment allocation balances incremental improvement of existing offerings with exploration of potentially disruptive innovations having longer-term implications. Open innovation approaches leverage external expertise through strategic partnerships, innovation competitions, and collaborative research initiatives rather than relying exclusively on internal capabilities. Intellectual property strategies protect innovation investments through patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets while enabling appropriate commercialization and licensing opportunities. Technology adoption frameworks evaluate emerging solutions against strategic objectives, implementation requirements, and anticipated benefits before committing significant resources. Business model innovation often creates more sustainable competitive advantage than product features that competitors can more easily replicate. Disruptive innovation theory suggests that established organizations should monitor seemingly inferior solutions, addressing underserved market segments that could potentially evolve to threaten mainstream businesses. Rapid prototyping techniques create minimum viable products for customer feedback collection before significant development investments, reducing expensive refinement of concepts lacking market appeal. Innovation metrics balance quantitative measures like patent counts and revenue contribution with qualitative assessments of strategic positioning and capability development. Organizational agility enables rapid adaptation to changing market conditions through decentralized decision-making, cross-functional collaboration, and continuous environmental monitoring. Digital transformation initiatives leverage emerging technologies to enhance customer experiences, improve operational efficiency, and enable entirely new business models. Innovation portfolio management balances resource allocation across incremental improvements, platform extensions, and potentially disruptive concepts with varying risk profiles. Corporate venturing units identify external innovation through minority investments, acquisitions, and strategic partnerships with promising startups. Scenario planning exercises prepare organizations for alternative future environments by identifying robust strategies effective across multiple potential market evolutions. Chapter 10: Global Economic Trends and Business Implications. Macroeconomic trends significantly influence business environments through impacts on consumer spending, investment decisions, currency valuations, and regulatory priorities. Demographic shifts, including population aging in developed economies and growing middle classes in emerging markets, create both challenges and opportunities across various industries. Urbanization continues concentrating economic activity within metropolitan regions while creating substantial infrastructure requirements and environmental challenges. Technological advancement accelerates productivity improvements while simultaneously disrupting established business models and creating entirely new economic sectors. International trade agreements establish frameworks for cross-border commerce, though increasing protectionist sentiment has complicated recent negotiations and implementation efforts. Currency fluctuations significantly impact international businesses through effects on pricing competitiveness, input costs, investment returns, and financial statement translation. Monetary policy decisions regarding interest rates and quantitative easing programs influence capital availability, investment attractiveness, and currency valuations across national economies. Labor market dynamics, including skill availability, wage expectations, and workplace flexibility requirements, vary substantially across different regions and demographic cohorts. Energy market transformations, driven by renewable generation advancement, storage technology improvements, and climate policy development, create strategic implications across virtually all industries. Income inequality trends influence consumer spending patterns, political environments, and social stability considerations relevant to business planning processes. Digital infrastructure investment, including broadband connectivity, data center capacity, and cybersecurity capabilities, increasingly determines regional competitiveness in knowledge-based industries. Consumer behavior evolves in response to technological capabilities, demographic characteristics, and changing values regarding sustainability, privacy, and social responsibility. Public health developments influence workforce availability, healthcare costs, consumer mobility, and various operational considerations across different business sectors. Supply chain reconfiguration trends emphasize resilience alongside efficiency following recent disruption experiences, with implications for sourcing strategies and inventory policies. Sustainability requirements continue expanding through regulatory mandates, investor expectations, consumer preferences, and corporate commitments addressing climate change concerns. Geopolitical tensions create business uncertainties regarding market access, regulatory stability, intellectual property protection, and various operational considerations in affected regions. Remote work normalization following pandemic experiences has significant implications for commercial real estate, technology investment, management practices, and workforce geography.